bellow at him, Cheryl.
We will call to order the regular city council meeting for March the 15th, 2023. The time is 6:01 p.m. Madam Clerk?
Mayor Ronnie Felder, Chairperson Miller Anderson, Chair Pro Tem Shirley Lanier,
Here.
Councilperson Trodrick McCoy,
Here.
Councilperson Douglas Lawson,
Here.
Councilperson Julia Botel,
Here.
Jonathan Evans, City Manager,
Present.
Tawana Smith, Interim City Clerk is present, Don Wynn, City Attorney.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We will have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll have a moment of silence for Carrie Ward, who is our former city clerk, a moment of silence for our Detective Emery Pops Davis Jr., a moment of silence for Officer Ron Concilio, and a moment of silence for Crossing Guard Donna Kirk. We will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Dr. Botel.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
And justice for all. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions for our agenda this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm going to have the clerk read those items into the record.
Okay,
Also, let the record reflect that Mayor Ronnie Felder is present. We have an addition, which is a proclamation for Finance Week. That's going to become item 6B as in boy. We're also deleting item 12B as in boy.
we're deleting it.
We're deleting, yes, we're removing that off the agenda for tonight. And then also, so that everyone is aware here in the public, we have a swearing in tonight. So once we conduct the swearing in, we'll take a 10-minute intermission to allow for pictures and for us to make the changes to the name tags and things of that nature. And then we'll come back and resume.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any disclosures by the council in regards to these items that are listed on the agenda? Hearing none, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Yes. Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Councilperson Lawson?
Yes.
Councilperson McCoy?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Lanier?
Yes.
That vote passes, Madam Chair.
We are at the portion of our agenda for consent. All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine, and action will be taken by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council person so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the agenda, the general order of business, and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda.
Move to approve consent.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Madam Chair, we don't have any public comment cards on consent.
Thank you.
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Councilperson Lawson?
Yes.
Councilperson McCoy?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Lanier?
Yes,
That vote passes, Madam Chair.
thank you. We are at number 6A.
6A is going to be the swearing in for Chairperson Douglas Lawson.
Thank you. Mr. Lawson?
Douglas Lawson, being a citizen of the United States of America and the state of Florida, and being employed as an employee of the city of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, and a recipient of public funds as an employee, do hereby solemnly swear or affirm under oath that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Florida, and conform to the statutes and general laws of the state of Florida, and do all in my power to uphold, support, and enforce the charter and the ordinance of the city of Riviera Beach while performing the duty as the chair, which I'm about to enter, to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you. Before we do recess, I just wanted to first speak to the residents and thank you guys for electing this entire board. Thank you to my family for coming out, and thank you to my colleagues, because you selected me as this chair to continue to serve as the board chair. I want us to move forward in the right direction that we set out many years ago, because this is the board that was elected in 2019 and has consistently led this same dynamic. So I just want to thank you guys. I want us to move forward. I want us to let bygones be bygones and not allow for any past issues, concerns that have come about to continue to hold us back. I apologize for any misdoing that I have done, and I want us to move forward in that direction. As the city chair, I want us to be the strongest we've ever been and continue to develop this community.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. And colleagues, we are a dynamic force. We're going to continue to show and lead by example. So thank you for your service. Thank you to our staff. And we don't have to recess for that long. One picture, and let's get back to the business of the city.
Thank you. We will have a 10-minute recess. This is my cue to move, right?
On this week, government finance professionals throughout the state of Florida will be acknowledged for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. And now, therefore, I, Ronnie L. Felder, Mayor of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, by the power invested by me by the residents of Riviera Beach, do at this moment proclaim the week of March 20th through March 24th, 2023 as Government Finance Professionals Week in Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, and extend our appreciation to all government finance professionals throughout the county here in the city of Riviera Beach for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. And witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the official seal of the city of Riviera Beach to be affixed on this 15th day of March, 2023 AD.
Any public comments, Madam Clerk?
No, there's no public comments on the proclamation.
Thank you. On to the regular agenda, discussions and deliberation, 12A. Madam Clerk?
Yes, 12A is discussion and deliberation, minority employment and affordability.
We removed 12B.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Go ahead.
with regards to the proclamation for Finance Professional Week, I believe Mr. Sherman and his team are here, and I would think it would be appropriate if the staff can come up and be recognized for Finance Professionals Week. And Mr. Sherman, if you can share some words.
Good evening, Randy Sherman, Director of Finance and Administrative Services. I'm not sure they'll get out of their seats, but Mayor, thank you for the proclamation. I really appreciate it. I brought this forward and asked you, if you would support that because this is really for the staff. They are dedicated, they're committed. The amount of transactions that they process on a daily and monthly basis would make your head spin. I just got to say, I am honored and to work with this group. They are some of the finest employees that I have ever had the opportunity to work with. And again, my appreciation to all of them. And again, Mayor, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Yes, we're on to item 12A, discussion and deliberation, minority employment and affordability housing opportunity plan, and that's Mr. Clarence Sermon, Director of Development Services. We do have one public comment card on this item, Mr. Chair, and the acceptance of public comment cards are now closed.
Thank you. Mr. Evans?
Mr. Chair, if I can have the Director of Development Services, Mr. Clarence Sermons, to make this presentation.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Manager. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of council, Madam Attorney, Honorable Mayor. I am here before you to present this discussion and deliberation item regarding the MEHOP ordinance. So today's presentation will be, as requested, condensed to highlight the changes that have been made since the last discussion we had on this item. The list before you now identifies the multitude of changes that have been made to this ordinance throughout the various discussions. However, today I will focus on those that we discussed at the last meeting to ensure that staff has captured all of the requests of City Council. So as you know, we had extensive discussion at the last council meeting regarding definitions that are being amended by the proposed ordinance. The first that had a change was affordable housing. To be consistent with a discussion, we have removed Florida Housing Finance Corporation or City of Riviera Beach from the definition to make it clear that we will be taking guidelines for maximum income from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Likewise, with attainable housing, Florida Housing Finance Corporation or City of Riviera Beach has been removed from the definition. Workforce housing, we have removed Fannie Mae and State of Florida. Market rate housing, we've removed Fannie Mae and State of Florida to provide clarity. Local business, we did have a discussion regarding this one, and we have removed the city to replace it with Palm Beach County to delineate the area in which we will consider a business local. This is the proposed change to the definition of minority. We have identified specific groups and provided descriptions of what those groups are. Minority business, we did have discussion regarding this one, and staff has noted that we will take it under strong advisement to utilize the database that the county has for what are certified minority businesses, but we will consider information submitted beyond that to ensure that when they are submitting a business to be satisfying that, that requirement, that we are taking those things into account. We settled on the rate for the contribution in lieu of construction at 105,000 for townhome and ownership units and 78,000 for rental units. The language regarding the Housing Trust Fund, as you're aware, we have added what eligible expenditures shall be considered for anything that comes out of the Housing Trust Fund, which is the recipient account for any contributions to affordable housing for the city. Additionally, we have added language for oversight of that account. Per the discussions, we have stricken the term team and changed it to committee of staff, including but not limited to representatives of city administration, finance department, development services, and a member of the public to be appointed by city council, and removed CRA. And then again, as it relates to minority employment, we made multiple changes to this section. When we brought it back, we thought it appropriate to add language to clarify and add guidelines to what it would take to satisfy the minority employment components. And we have also changed the requirements such that to make the hiring component more achievable, developments that fall into the category only need to meet one of the 4 criteria to receive the development bonus. The criteria just referred to is on the screen before you now. That is section B of this component of the code. So there have been a few minor text changes, and then the addition of number 4, which allows an additional opportunity for compliance in utilizing apprentices. And in this section, we have proposed the party requesting the bonus shall utilize a minimum of 10% of laborers from an apprentice program in specialties for which there are programs. Such apprentices shall be students in a certified state of Florida pre-apprenticeship or apprentice program, which is located in the city. And if no interested persons can be located within the cities, then such program or programs may be located in Palm Beach County. Again, this is an additional option for a receiver of these bonuses to affect employment in our city. Then next, we talked about a potential of changing from a quota system to a targeted recruitment system for the employment component. It was discussed that instead of picking one, that we would encourage both. So to effectuate that, staff has made the following text change. Under section E, under minority employment, in addition to the existing requirements to provide a minority participation plan, that plan must include at a minimum a reporting component to monitor employment throughout the construction duration, and 2, an affirmative marketing component, which will identify how the project will target Riviera Beach residents for employment opportunities before opening those jobs to the general public. And again, the final text describes how a project that receives density bonuses in the form of units must comply with the employment component, at least one of those 4, as well as the housing contribution section of the code, and it refers them back to the affirmative marketing campaign for hiring from the city when possible and opening job opportunities to residents of the city first. Those are the discussed changes from the last meeting, and that concludes staff presentation. And I am available for any questions that there may be.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Let's go to public comment.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have Miss Mary Brown.
Miss Mary Brown, Riviera Beach, to everyone that are seated in their rightfully places. I'm glad that all minds and hearts are clear here. We workshopped this, and I'm quite sure, hopefully, that I would assume that all of you all got the packages pertaining to this, and everyone is on board. I would like to say something pertaining to this too. I'm glad that it was implemented. The members of the public will have a seat at the table. Why? This is critical because anything of this magnitude that would come into the city here, it just should not be where it's all lineated toward the board. The public needs a seat at that table there, whoever that may be. Also, I do like the written agreement section there. Why? That is critical there as well. Any time that I like to say we are a multitude of every generation of people. So everyone can tap into this here and feels as if that they can see that we're moving forward and they are a part of this. And that is good. I like that written agreement between the city and those that will bring this on board as far as bonuses are concerned. Have it in writing. Make sure all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. I often say within a sentence or a paragraph, it is always one word that would throw the whole thing in limbo. So let's be sure that those I's are dotted and those T's are crossed. And this is precisely the agreement with these bonuses because that's important now. That is critical there as well. So that's what I wanted to say. And residents, I hear so often when we bring things into the city here that you want our people to have the jobs. Yes, I want them to have the jobs, but I'm asking the residents, stop relying on just a handout. Get up and apply yourself and do the things that you need to do as an individual to tap into these resources and tap into this job market that we as a city that will bring into this city. So thank you all. Do not labor with the board and continue. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Brown. Any discussion or comments from the board?
Chairman,
Go ahead, Ms. Leonard.
there was, Mr. Sermons, that the language what we talked about on the oversight of the Housing Trust Fund. I don't see where it was added for a resident to be a part of that board.
Which document are you
I
looking
might
at
be
the
looking
moment?
at the old one. I'm looking at the discussion item.
The strike through underline
No, the
attachment?
one before that. It says MIHOP discussion and deliberation item. It looks like a PowerPoint.
In the PowerPoint. Okay, so the PowerPoint in the backup is what was presented last time. The PowerPoint that I just showed before you did capture that.
Okay,
And then the document that has the current strike through underline reflects it as well.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Mr. Sermons, I don't recall when we had this on the first that we agreed to require affordable units to be on site with the market rate. Because I'm looking at 26-7, subsection C. it says affordable housing units in an affordable housing development shall be mixed with and not clustered together or segregated in any way from market rate units. Does that mean you can't go off-site with these units?
No, the developer has the option of providing them off-site if they are integrated into a mixed income residential development. It's saying that you can't cluster or segregate the affordable units, that they have to be dispersed amongst the development. So they do still have the option of being able to provide it off-site or paying the fee in lieu, of course.
Follow up.
Go ahead.
So
Councilman.
realistically, Mr. Sermons, how do you even, after construction, once it's CO'd, we wouldn't know whether or not they're clustered together or they're segregated.
That would be part of the housing plan that they have to provide to us. They have to identify where those affordable units are. If they move them in the building, they would have to provide that to us. And it would require annual reports on projects that are recipients of this, so we can make sure that they don't promise to have a certain number of units as affordable when they first open the project, but a couple years later then get rid of them and charge market rate for everything. So they would be required to report to the city to ensure that they're maintaining the required number of affordable units and make sure we receive updates related to those.
And Mr. Sermons, exactly how long? You said annual reports in perpetuity forever?
That's correct.
And why is that?
The bonuses that they receive would be a part of the project forever. So we believe that the affordable units that are associated and that afforded those bonuses should be in perpetuity as well.
Okay. That just seemed very much like an arduous responsibility for both the developer and the city to manage something. In fact, I was looking for the original site plan for the community that I'm in that was built in 2004 or 5. Nobody has it. So how would you possibly be able to mandate something like that 30 years down the line, that somebody comes in every year to recertify that these affordable units are still there when we can't maintain site plans for 20 years? That's just my comment. I'm not trying to be hard, but I'm just trying to be practical. And I remind the members as well as staff that we're dealing with things right now as a council that we think when it was done in the 90s, it had some unintended consequences that no one ever considered. So I just am trying to figure out, how do we monitor something like that when, I certainly understand what you're doing, but I just want to make sure that we understand this, because that wasn't talked about on the first one we brought this up. And to that point, what you have up there is not what we have. I'm trying to go through the strike through an underlined version and follow along, but we went pretty swiftly, but I just want to make sure that I understand what's being asked of us.
Understood. Staff is open to any requested modifications that the board would request. We did model this after what we have found to be some industry standards as it relates to affordable housing. And we have found this to be common, that those have to be maintained. But we do understand that it is an oversight burden on staff. And with this kind of program, we understand that that's a part of it. And we're willing to do the work to stay on top of those things. And it is not extremely different from a lot of the other documentation and reports that the city has to stay on top of for various agreements that we have.
Okay. Follow up again.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Sermons, looking at the zoning districts, do you know how many it is? It's about 8 zoning districts, and 2 of them are new, correct? IHC PUD, and I believe RM20 maybe?
The IHC PUD is new. We have made a modification to the resort hotel that was already a zoning district eligible, but we added the option of being able to convert hotel units to condominiums. So the district was there, but that component is new.
Would you have an opinion as to whether we could explore doing density bonuses for RM15 zoning districts?
RM15, it was not a part of the scope of research for this. Those districts are typically mixed with low unit count, multifamily, as well as single-family homes. So it is something that's possible. The researching that was not a part of the scope of what's before you today, though. However, staff is happy to do that if it is being requested to be a part of this ordinance moving forth on first reading versus a separate ordinance. Staff would just want clarity on that so we can know how to proceed from tonight's meeting.
Madam Attorney and Mr. Sermons, I guess that probably won't even work if we're expected to see this back on the 22nd, right? And we're going to have notification and advertisement requirements, correct?
I would expect that it would be too late. We've advertised first and second reading already with the header set, and we would not want any issues with the header not being reflective of the content of the ordinance for fear of any issues.
Thank you.
Madam Attorney, did you want to opine on the comments? Board?
Mr. Chair,
Councilwoman, go ahead.
way down here, maybe you can't see me. Sorry. I feel like I'm in another country.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Mr. Sermons, with regard to section 26-6, minority employment component, I'm looking at the strike-through version, and I still see, while under the minority employment option, all four components of subsection B of this section must be met to qualify. So I presume you're going to change that.
Yes, so because of when we have to post our agendas, sometimes we haven't made all of the changes to make sure we get the information out. But as you know, when we have our pre-agenda reviews and other discussions, we make those changes as we're going. So the PowerPoint and that strike-through version are not the latest ones. And I know we discussed that yesterday as well, but staff has made that edit.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Board?
Chair.
Councilwoman Lanier, go ahead.
I'd just like to say thank you to Mr. Sermons. It took a few tries, but I think that, the final product is a good product and that it was, you specified what the council wanted in this program. So I really appreciate you and your staff for your hard work for this. It is to be commended.
Thank you.
And I want to echo those sentiments, Mr. Sermons. You've put a lot of work into this, and we've given you back and forth for a while, but thank you, because this is going to be one of the biggest changes for our planning in our city. Our comprehensive plan and master plan. I do want you to stick around so that we can get an update on where we stand, so that we can look at the entire comprehensive plan and master plan moving forward. But this change is going to impact the development of our community. So thank you for that, because the policy, I believe, will actually allow for addressing the need for infrastructure, addressing the need for increased density, but also addressing the need for housing, affordable workforce, and obtainable housing. So I think that we were able to hit all of that in one policy. So thank you.
Thank you.
And Chair, I think it's
Go ahead,
also,
Councilwoman.
I think it's also a model for the county to use as well.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you, Mr. Sermons.
Thank you, Mr. Sermons.
We are on to public comments, which we will be keeping open until 7:30. Public comment shall begin at 7:30 unless there is no further business of the city council, which in that event, it shall begin sooner. In addition, if any item is being considered at 7:30, then comments from the public shall begin immediately after the item has been concluded. Please be reminded the city council board has adopted rules of decorum governing the public conduct during official meetings, which has been posted at the front desk. In an effort to preserve order, if any of the rules are not adhered to, the city council chairperson may have any disruptive speaker or attendee removed from the podium, from the meeting, or from the building, if necessary. Please govern yourselves accordingly. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have a total of 13 public comment cards. The first is going to be Mr. Kent Pollock. Second would be Bill Wallach and Steve Wilcox.
Thank you, Ms. Pollock. You have 3 minutes to address the board.
To the Honorable Mayor Feld, to our council chair, Mr. Lawson, to all of our elected council officials, and to one of my favorite departments to work with, which is the office of the clerk's office. I bring you greetings. I appreciate your assistance anytime I need you. Tonight, I just want to make a couple of public announcements. In the first week of March, I had the pleasure of sitting in two different forums that were community related, and I think they're very important that I bring that to the table. The first one was sponsored by Chairman Lawson. It was a mental health and wellness advisory committee, and what they had was several people there who were in a position in offices that deal with mental health, and the forum was designed to find out what this community felt were important issues in community health that we need to deal with, and they were looking for people to serve on a advisory committee. And I took it upon myself to bring that to this board, share it with the residents here. We are looking for anyone who is interested in any of the mental health or wellness issues that are going on in this community, anybody who have concerns, anybody who would like to sit on a task force to find solutions to those issues. You can contact Mr. Lawson's office for any specific other details. The second announcement that I'd like to bring is, I also had the pleasure of sitting in at the District 7 School Board meeting that was sponsored by Mr. Edwin Ferguson. In this meeting, Mr. Ferguson shared the State of the Union of the 7 schools that are in our district. However, he also shared some concerns that he wanted to bring forth for community assistance. One of the things that he talked about was the support for a Riviera Beach High School, which will be a public high school within the bounds of the city of Riviera Beach. And he asked for assistance on us to push that through the board. And what he gave is he gave a number, 561-434-7481, which is a number you can call and share your interests and concerns. And you could also send an email to the school board at schoolboard@palmbeachcountyschools.org. He also had shared some other interests that he thought that were needs in school. One of the things he mentioned was that each of our public schools in the area need volunteers. Volunteerism could be an assortment of things that are available. By the way, I did go in and sign up to be a volunteer at Bethune Elementary School last week. And he also mentioned that there are some financial needs that need to be met with these schools. So if you have a couple extra dollars, save a lunch here and there, support these schools. And these are finances for schools, student achievement awards and ceremonies. And I think lastly, he had an all call for what was, I wasn't here back then, but back in the early 2010, 12, they had a Riviera Beach Education Committee. So he did a call for that. If anybody who was ever a part of that committee, come on board. And if you want to be a part of it, I think Ms. Lanier was the sponsor, the host for that meeting. She will be able to help you with assistance as well.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Kent.
Yes, Mr. Bill Wallach, Mr. Steve Wilcox, and Ms. Lisa Wilcox.
Welcome to the podium, Mr. Bill.
Try this again. Okay. Thank you for hearing me this evening.
If you can state your name into the record, sir.
Sure. Bill Watlatich, Lone Pine, 40 years. I want to address the issue of rezoning of the Lone Pine Golf Course, as we know what's been going on with the rezoning. I want to start with the meaning of a conflict of interest, as stated by the Oxford Languages. A conflict of interest is a situation in which a person is in a position to derive personal benefit from actions or decisions made in their official capacity. Any board member who has the potential for personal financial gain by voting yes to rezone Lone Pine Golf Course to residential cannot be allowed to vote in favor of rezoning. To take it one step further, no council member should be able to vote on any rezoning issue in the city of Riviera Beach that may cause a conflict of interest. Any council member who votes on the issue of rezoning and has a potential financial gain, which is a conflict of interest, has basically two options. One is to vote no. One is to vote no, which eliminates the possible conflict of interest immediately. The other is to recuse oneself, By recusing oneself, this also eliminates the conflict of interest issue altogether. No other choices are available. The conflict of interest is too great an issue to ignore. There is too much at stake for the residents of Lone Pine and the city of Riviera Beach. The council should see the logic behind this. This is a no-brainer. This is too big of an issue to leave to chance. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Bill.
Steve Wilcox, Lone Pine Estates, congratulations.
Thank you, Steve.
Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Good to see everybody. Thanks for the officers, too. We appreciate y'all. I think many things have been said about Lone Pine, and you all have heard stories. It was a very good point Bill brought up, but you've all heard our concerns with rezoning, and I'm just going to address you as a neighbor. You know, we're Riviera Beach, we're neighbors, and I just would appreciate if y'all really consider the rezoning of that golf course. There's other things that can be done there. Obviously, the man, if he needs to be getting out, that's great. Let the man get out, let him sell. There's other ways to get out and to sell that property. It does not have to go to the developers, the things that's not going to be favorable for that particular piece of property. As a neighbor, you know, it's all, many things have been said, and I just want to encourage y'all, please, treat us as a neighbor, really consider what we're doing here if we do rezone this thing, and the consequences that it's going to bring forth. It's, you know, it's like not getting these things back. We don't want to move forward, then all of a sudden say, well, you know, it would have been nice to maybe have this down the road. You know, children get older, lives change, people change, situations change, and we do have this recreational property at this time. I think it'd be a very strong point to truly consider the neighbors that have been in Lone Pine for so many years, and moving forward, the consequences that this could have on the city. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Miss Lisa Wilcox, Miss Deborah Hagen, and Lorelli Spites, or Speets.
Thank you. It's nice to be speaking before you. Ms. Lanier, thank you for coming to our meeting and the groundbreaking on last Saturday. We appreciate that, and Mr. Lawson as well. We just want you to think about Lone Pine. It is one of our most intact neighborhoods. I've been a teacher now all of my life. I think I've been working for John James Green. Some of you know him from the city. He worked in housing for years. He has been my only employer my entire life, so I am part Green. But Lone Pine is an intact neighborhood, and you don't always find that. And my family background, my grandfather came from Lebanon and ended up with he had a 5th grade education, but ended up buying a little piece of property that turned out to be part of Worth Avenue. Go figure, you know? Sold it and bought almost half of a block in Palm Beach and ended up with the only grocery store there for 30 to 40 years. He rented to Brinkley, but this was way before Publix ever came in. You know, so I understand different neighborhoods. I understand different communities. That was a part of my life for many years, and Lone Pine is intact. Our neighbors have integrity. They have morals. They have ethics, and money doesn't buy you that. And if Lone Pine Golf Course gets redeveloped, if we, instead of looking out at a golf course, are going to be hearing construction for a year to 2 years, we won't stay. We won't stay. I won't stay. You know, we'll turn it into a rental. We'll do whatever we have, but we don't want to see that because we have great neighbors. And John Green told me, I wasn't old enough or wise enough to be aware, but he told me that before Martin Luther King was assassinated, that the Black communities were intact. He said the money circulated within the community, and he's taught our students this for years. And our community is intact right now. And I would hate for it to be destroyed. I would hate for it to turn into a rental community. You know, our board met in our annual meeting on Saturday, and the things that were coming out of them were so solid. You don't find that anywhere. You don't find that in just any community. And I just want you to consider that you don't want to hurt one of your most solid, integrated communities. And just consider us. We love Lone Pine. We love Riviera Beach. We've been here for 34 years this December. My husband dug that footer with a shovel. Just remember us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lisa.
Miss Deborah, Miss Lorelli, and Miss Rochelle Baker Hughes.
Hello.
Hello,
Good
Ms. Deb.
evening, everyone. Good evening, audience. My name is Deborah Horton, and some of you know me as Mama D's Calabash. I have a food truck on 17 on Broadway in the Miami Marina. And the purpose of me being here, about a year ago, I started playing some music to bring more business. I've been there 3.5 years. So to build my business, I started playing some music. And fortunately, sometime last month, I have a big DJ guy came and started playing the music for me. It was a little loud, so some of you guys called the police, and they came and said to turn it down, which I did that. I think after that, following the next 4 days in the week, I received more police came out on a Monday and a Wednesday and a Friday, asked for my driver's license. I don't know why. But anyway, what I'm asking you all, could you all please take into consideration the revenue that I'm losing? The music does help bring me customers. I don't have a building, but I have a food truck. And I don't play music every single day. It's just one day out of the month that I put something together to do some soul food and some fish fry to draw the people out to come and enjoy the food and enjoy a little bit of music. I know I was told that I have to pay for the permit to play the music. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, I'd like to find out and ask you how much it is so I can continue to do that. If it's about the loudness, I can be able to turn it down, the decimal down a little bit, so it won't be that loud. I do it on a Saturday when majority of the business are closed. So, and the residents are coming and asking me in the past 4 weeks what happened. Some of the business owners came to buy their lunch. Why are you not playing the music anymore? I let them know that someone said I'm playing, the city said to turn it off, or the police said to turn it off. So I'm asking you all, could you please see what can you do for me? And I'm in a commercial area. I'm in a private property that owned by a private owner, and I'm in a business area, not in a residential area. So see what you can do to help me out, because I'm losing at least $8,000 for the year just playing my music, not the rest of the day, not the sales that I make during the day. That one day times the 12 months in the year. If you add up what I make, I started making that much so far, and that's now gone. So I'm losing almost $8,000 for the year just for that. So see what you can do to help me so I can continue, because some of you I've invited. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Deb.
Miss Lorelli, Miss Rochelle Baker Hughes, and then Miss Dorothy Hancock.
Welcome, Ms. Lorella.
Hello, council. My name is Lorelei Spates, and I live in Federal Garden. And I am here on behalf of the Urban Farm. I live around the corner from the Urban Farm. And I want to tell you my first encounter. One Saturday, I came to the farm and I received free vegetables. And it was just like really nice. And so the next thing I did, I signed up and I became a volunteer. And I started coming every week. The first week I was weak. I could barely, pick vegetables. And the first rule is don't fall out. So I began coming every week and I began getting stronger. And I just started realizing that I felt so good. I do suffer from some depression. And as I started going to the farm every week, I started feeling better. It was like a therapy for me. And it was like being like one with God. When you see vegetables growing from the ground up, it's creation. Yeah, and thank you. I'm not finished, but so now also as a volunteer, there's a community of love, a spirit of um, just helping one another. And it's just something that we all love to do. Every week we come together and we learn from each other, we teach each other. And excuse me. And I just wanted to say that Valika is a person that makes the volunteers feel like we're a part of. She brings the different parts of the community to the farm. There has been, Publix has come to volunteer. The American Heart Association has been there. We have been on walks with the American Heart Association. And we also learn about business there. And there's just activism. So I wanted to say that this farm, urban farm, it's revolutionary. You have, in Valika, you have a person who is an expert in business and knowledge, and she teaches me that too. So I would just like you to just remember the urban farm, and Revere Beach needs the urban farm. It would be great for us to make sure that the urban farm is always a part.
Thank you for your comments,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Ms. Rochelle Baker Hughes, Ms. Dorothy Hancock, and then Jessica Brason, Brason.
Good evening. My name is Rochelle Baker Hughes. I'm from Lone Pine Estates. I'm back. A couple things I want to say. First of all, I want to extend a thank you to Miss Shirley Lanier, Mr. Doug Lawson, and Mr. Richard Blankenship for our groundbreaking ceremony that you sponsored at our park on Saturday. Thank you very much. We're excited to get the park developed, get walking trail and everything, so thank you. Canterbury Drive South, I know, I want to commend Mr. Armstrong, who's the Utility Specials Director, I don't know. Canterbury Drive South is, there's gonna be some closures on it. There was a lot of misunderstanding, some stuff that went out, flyers that were not very detailed for our neighborhood. And I sent in emails, and Mr. Armstrong was nice enough to not only explain to me what was going on so I could try to explain to the community, but also making sure that the contractor sent out flyers that were more detailed and with a map. So thank you, but I also am going to advise all of you right now, you may get phone calls from people in Lone Pine because there's closures going on and people are like, "Bleh." No one listens, no one reads. So anyways, I just want to thank Mr. Armstrong. Congratulations, Mr. Lawson, on becoming chairman. That's awesome. I look forward to your service for chair. I want to acknowledge Chief Josh Lewis. He's helped me with the situation that has come up, and actually two situations. So I just want to thank him for being there and assisting me and pointing me in the right direction and helping me. Last but not least, Lone Pine Golf Course. I did send an email earlier today to a couple people that I've been discussing with regarding the second reading of the Lone Pine Golf Course. As my other neighbors have come up and said, we really don't want the rezoning of the golf course, recreational green space land. I would like to invite any of you from the hours of 4 PM to 6:30 PM to start at Blue Heron Boulevard and head south to 45th Street, probably any day, Monday through Friday, to see what traffic is like. And now that the Rapids is opening up, it's probably going to be even worse. But it took me 30 minutes to get from Blue Heron and Military Trail to Lone Pine because of the backup of traffic southbound. Anyway, so second reading, hopefully that'll come. And thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Rochelle.
Miss Dorothy Hancock, Jessica Brayson, and Anna Vergney.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Dorothy Hancock, and I wanted to speak to you this evening about the Riviera Beach Urban Farm and Garden Project. Congratulations, Mr. Lawson. I wanted to take a moment this evening to speak to you about Valika. She's basically made such a big impact in the community in Riviera Beach. Valika reached out to the city of Riviera Beach with her vision. She had a vision, and she saw an empty lot that basically had nothing but weeds and grass, a few patches of grass, and she saw that this land would be able to teach the children of our community and the city of Riviera Beach, not just to see what's in front of them, but basically just to have their imagination to work for them and actually transform their community. The land basically has been transformed next to the Barracuda Bay Water Park into a beautiful garden that has fed many families in the city, in the surrounding cities, and also the community. JFK Middle School is being transformed. The land next to it has been transformed into Candyland for the benefit of the JFK Middle School, Palm Beach County Schools, Palm Beach County School District, with the help of volunteers, funders, benefactors, and friends. This vision did not just stop at using it to feed the community. The vision included feeding our children culinary skills and how to cook what they grew from the land. The vision serves as a relaxing environment, allowing education to extend outdoors as well. Culinary classes, art, and physical education. So much of this land in Riviera Beach was nothing but farmland at one time. I know because I grew up here. There was just cows, there were horses, there were mango groves, there were orange groves. The land was always rich. And this is what we grew up on as well. There was no Walmart to run down the street to. We had to make do with what we had and what we grew in our yard. So I'm reaching out to you all to let you know that this is a staple. There's so much negativity about Riviera Beach. Our children need this. They need to look up instead of constantly looking down at their cell phone. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Dorothy.
Thank you.
Miss Jessica Brayson, Miss Anna Vergney, and Lee Goldwire.
Good evening, Riviera Beach, council members, chair, mayor, friends, neighbors. My name is Jessica Brayson, and I represent 3 different and prominent volunteer groups who've been volunteering at the urban farm with Valika Brown and Operation No Food Gap since it began. And I'm not an official spokesperson for these groups, so I will not name them tonight. But I know I've worked with many of you. I've seen you at the farm, so I know that you believe in it too. We have planted seeds, we've weeded, we've harvested, cleaned the food, packaged, and distributed the food together. This is just a fraction of what we've accomplished together. Over the years, we've built friendships and bonds that will last a lifetime. We've learned a healthier and happier way of life. And for this, we thank you all, every single one of you. And we thank Felica and Operation No Food Gap for making this possible. It's really changed our lives. When we learned that Felica needed our help today, we jumped at the chance to let you know how much we value this program under the direction of Operation No Food Gap. It is professionally managed with care for the whole community, and we urge you to fully fund and support this project. We believe in the future of Riviera Beach, and we want to continue working together for the betterment of everyone. So thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Jessica.
Miss Anna Vergney, Miss Lee Goldwire, Miss Mary Brown.
Hi, I'm Anna Bergney, and I live in 167 East 24th Street. I want to ask for forgiveness ahead of time. Peppa and I are going through a period of adjustment as Spotter has had to be retired. Congratulations, Councilman Lawson.
Thank you.
You're only going to be held more accountable, not less accountable, so be prepared for that. I want to talk to you about, I'm really confused about, there was a stipulation written between the city and Rybovich. That stipulation that was written not only allowed Rybovich 18 months to fix their violations, but the violations came with no citations. And I have yet to hear why this happened, since Lakeview Park needs that money to recover from all the infrastructure damage that has been caused. I want to thank a few people for taking my phone calls, for sharing their experiences, telling me where I need to sometime adjust, even giving me notebooks to write things down, which has been extremely helpful. I'm not doing it yet, but yes. Lakeview Park is in crisis still. I have asked this council to please reconsider. We're going through the same thing that Lone Pine Estates is going through. You guys want development in an area where it doesn't belong. You have little water ocean access. You have little recreation area, but yet we're quick to give it away, and I don't understand why that is. These are valuable resources to the residents of the city. Why are we doing that? Why? The only area that we have ocean access at Lakeview Park, which is for the west side of the residents, is East 24th Street, and you want to put a mooring field there. Please make that make sense. It doesn't fit, and it's a sandbar. At what point, do we have to stand on our heads? What do we have to do? You guys are destroying our community slowly. You guys have to step back and take a look. Come drive by my community and see what it looks like. But yet you want more development there that doesn't fit. The Lone Pines Golf Course is 1 in a million. You don't have to rezone it from recreational. You can keep it as recreational. Hey, I'm so sorry. Don't hurt our communities anymore. We have to live it. We're literally living, not being able to walk our streets at Lakeview Park. The residents of the Lone Pine Estates are telling you it's taking them 45 minutes on a 5-minute walk.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Anna.
Mr. Lee Goldwire, Miss Mary Brown, and Miss Chandra Stringer.
How you guys doing? Here to speak on behalf of the Urban Farm.
If you could say your name into the record, sir.
My name is Lee Goldwire, Lee Meyer Goldwire. I'm a longtime Riviera Beach resident, and I want to speak about the Urban Farm and what it meant to me and what it means to my family. Growing up in Riviera Beach, we didn't see many opportunities to see fresh food being grown, have access to fresh food, and it being free to the residents. So just being a part of the project has been everything to me. And recently, I think there was a JFK grand opening. One of the things they had was like a yoga part to it. And me growing up in Riviera Beach and growing up in the conditions I grew up in, there was a lot of anger, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. And to see that JFK has a component through eRoadmap where we can use yoga as a way to deal with our emotions, to center us, so that when our students go back to class, we're not going back to class angry. We're not going back to class upset. And when I speak on Valika, you're talking about a visionary, a person that's brilliant, a person that has a mindset that wants to see our city win. And when we look at a lot of other cities, a lot of other cities has a lot of beautiful things going on. And when we look at Riviera Beach, we don't have a lot of things where our residents can come to and enjoy, and it's free and it looks nice. It looks like it's something that we're proud of. All right. So for myself, I'm hoping that this project can be continued. I'm hoping that my kids can continue to benefit of coming out there and learning how to grow non-GMO food, having a medicinal side. For our JFK students having the ability to come out to and practice their cultural habits. For me, this project is something I would love to keep going, and I just wish the best for us. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Miss Mary Graham, Miss Chandra Stringer, and Miss Cindy March.
People of the podium, so I'm gonna do it myself, okay? I don't see the speakers on the podium, so I'm gonna do it myself. Okay, don't start my time, because I had to do their job. Okay, please. Please, can I get the 3 minutes back, because I had to do the ambassador's job.
You go ahead, Ms. Brown.
Please, thank you. First of all, let me say congratulations to the chair, Chair Lawson, and congratulations, Vice Chair Shirley Lanier. You all will govern. You all will come prepared. You will not labor the board. We did it over at 600, 3 minutes, when it got too heated. Each one had 3 minutes, and you went back and forth until it was resolved. Councilman McCoy, he has been engaged in federal as well as state government. I know it for a fact because Ms. Graham has went in that realm there. So he dialogues the way that he dialogues. And therefore, he's not saying that he knows more than anybody else, because that's not who he is. He comes to shed a little light. And sometimes he gets heated because you all are not really diving into it too. So I'm going to encourage you as a board too. Get up, go explore, dive deep. Councilman, Chair Lawson, when you was last elected, it was the 4 of us that was standing in here. And I told your dad and your brother, in this city in Riviera Beach, no other elected official has gone outside to a state house, federal house. You can do that. Exactly what I'm saying here tonight. You dive in there, just like the other colleagues do. And you can go outside of Riviera Beach. Any of you all can go outside of Riviera Beach, but you must focus. You must apply yourself. Carrie E. Ward, the memorial over there at 600. I want to thank Miss Deborah Hall, Roseanne Brown, Jacqueline Burgess for what they did over there. The city should have done that. 38 years. We've always said 40 years because she volunteered her time as well as her service. And if any of them or if anyone has done what we're supposed to do, reimburse them. Because Carrie Ward is one of us. She gave us a lot in this city here, whether you appreciate it or not, because what goes around comes around. 38 years and counting. Condolences goes out to our police department, and they have been really having some loss in that department, as well as with the other fellow employees. We say condolences, and we give our condolences to our great police department as well, too. So you all work together, and Ms. Graham loves you all. Every last one of you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Brown.
Miss Chandra Stringer, Ms. Cindy March, and Ms. Brenda Brown.
Good evening to the Honorable Mayor Felder, to newly appointed Chairman Doug Lawson, to City Manager, to all the council and attorneys and everybody in their respective places. I want to read this little short poem that I created. Yeah, I did that. Because even though we've come and we've stated different things, we still have so much that needs to be addressed. So you see me wearing a shirt and it's entitled, "We Matter." Unanswered questions and unresolved issues are answers we want to know. We stand together and await for valid responses, not blanket answers for a show, because we matter. We're not discouraged, but unified to get engaged. We're looking for strategic solutions that has caused the city in an uproar and outrage, because we matter. Honor is due to each of you for the role you play, but we're reviewing notes and want to find out capital improvement status updates today, because we matter. United we stand, and divided we will fall. We are citizens that are willing to take a stand and risk it all, because we matter. Every individual, every family, every community deserve the best. We stand in solidarity and say we will not settle for anything less, because we matter. Have a good evening.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
Ms. Cindy March, Ms. Brenda Brown, and Ms. Doretta Paul.
Council. Congratulations to Doug Lawson, and I hope we can move this city forward. We need to put away the personal vendettas. We are hurting here in the city of Riviera Beach. My heart is heavy because, I don't want to elaborate on what we went through in the past, who was the chairperson. The same people took in the chair. We want answers. We're hurting here in the city of Riviera Beach. We're losing our young kids. They have nowhere to go. We don't get the answers, just like she said. I'm reiterating. We ask Mr. Evans for answers. We get partial of the answers. These citizens and residents, they're sick, they tired, and they sick. And we're not stopping. We can come together. Let's find common ground. Forget about the titles and the positions, and put your heart in the city of Riviera Beach, where we love to live, work, and play. I grew up here in the city. I was that little knock-kneed 14-year-old child that picked up paper off the ground for Public Works for the Summer Youth Employment Program. Bring that back. Stop worrying about who wasn't doing this and who wasn't doing that. Doug Lawson, you got a hard chair to sit in. We're not going to batter you. We want to work with all of you all. I have said some things that I regret saying, and I can be the better person and say I'm sorry. But can you all as leaders stand up and prove to yourself, is this the reason why we voted for you all? Enough is enough. We don't hear nothing about the water bill that was increased, how we're going to be reimbursed. What's the update with the dirty water? What's the update with the building over there that's supposed to be Amazon? I don't see the word Amazon on it, but I do see people back there parked as if they're working. You all say it was going to bring jobs here in the city. Let's stop bringing these big developers here, building in our city, and they're not giving back to our residents. Cost of living is high. Residents where we live is high. Cost of living in low-income housing. Come on, if they're going to put something here, go to our minorities and let them build where they grew up in our city and give us a chance to be a first-time home, or either a chance to pay rent and not have to choose whether we can put medicine or food on our table because we got to try to keep a roof over our head. Enough is enough. If it's to change leadership with management, we need to do that. Just like we brought him here, and I'm not going to badger him because we're going on a new slate, but I must call a spade a spade. The workers are hurting. The employees, they're not going to bring it to the table because they're not going to have nobody snatch the fork out their mouth. But we got people committing suicide. It's a toxic environment for the workplace. Enough is enough. Forget about the degrees. Because just like I said the other week, you can get a person dirty off the street and clean him up. If it's hard right,
Thank you
he's
for your
gonna do the
comments, Ms.
right
March.
thing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
next is Ms. Brenda Brown. After Brenda Brown, the acceptance of public comment cards will be closed. It'll be then 7:30.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Okay, the top of the evening to the city council platform and the residents that's present here from Riviera Beach. I would like to expound on the Riviera Beach Urban Farm.
If
that
you could say your
provide-
name into the record, ma'am?
Excuse me?
If you could say your name into the record?
My name is Brenda Brown.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Again, I would like to expound on the Riviera Beach Urban Farm that provides free, healthy, non-GMO foods for the community consumption that also is inclusive for residents to volunteer their supportiveness. It also offers the culinary arts as an additional school curriculum for the JFK Middle School students with the dynamic of further agriculture enlightenment. Ms. Valika, I have volunteered my services there at the farm. And as you all may be aware of, that there was an unveiling January the 21st of this year. And they provided cooking demos, giveaways, and other activities for the community. They have been there since, 2020. I think that we should continue to let them maintain what they're doing. They're helping the community in more ways than one. And I would like to just lastly reiterate that our vision for Riviera Beach, it says, a community where all residents of Palm Beach County have the resources and opportunities to achieve their full potential. Our mission to promote independence and enhance the quality of the life in Palm Beach County by providing effective and essential services to residents in need. And also lastly, Councilor Doug Lawson, I would like to commend you on the elected candidate as the current chairperson moving forward. And I wish you the best of success in this role as you reign. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Brown.
Ms. Doretta Park, Ms. Lady March, and Ms. Marvelous Washington.
Good evening. My name is Doretta Park, and we are still in COVID. And if Mr. Evans, if we can start having them come spray, that'll be great, you know? I want to commend and congratulate you, Mr. Lawson, and also Mrs. Lanier. Congratulations. My condolences go out to the City of Riviera Beach Police Department, and also a longstanding city clerk, Mrs. Carrie Ward, and her family. I want to talk about Long Pine. There's a young man who is a resident of Long Pine. His name is William Hicks. He's a civil engineer. He has spoke several times at the city council meeting concerning if the developer goes on with his plans of making all of these condos or residential areas, that the homes in Long Pine will suffer. They will have also like water intrusion. He came and spoke out and gave his theses concerning this, and it'll be devastation for these residents. Please do not vote for this. Months ago, I was looking at the news, and there was a lady in Port St. Lucie. The same developer, Bill Horton, he developed these big condos and homes out there. Her home was devastated. She had water intrusion, mold, fungi, everything. She went to the city, and the city made her whole. D.L. Horton had to bring up her property, do whatever that needed so she can survive. What will happen to these residents? We have hundreds of residents out there. Don't do that to them. And I want to commend Chief Curd and also Mr. Evans and all the firefighters, women and men. That's a state-of-the-art fire station that's on Congress and Blue Heron. Beautiful, beautiful fire station. I was riding today, and they're now getting the pavement for those firefighters and their trucks to come right out to take care of us. You're doing a remarkable job, Mr. Evans, also Chief Bird, and all of the firefighters, and also our police
Thank you for your comments,
department.
Ms. Pope.
And I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Miss Lady Goldwire, Miss Marvelous Washington, and Miss Leah Hamilton.
Hi, Lady March Goldwire. The first thing I want to do is say thank you. I'm gonna try to keep it together. Thank you. You know, you have to be careful when you get into a fight or a battle with people, because you go in thinking that you are going to come out victorious. You never make an assessment of the battle scars that you walk away with when it's over. I just want to go on the record and say that it was not worth it. And for anything that I've done, said, I'd like to just also be the bigger person and say, I'm sorry, but I'm glad to have gotten it behind me. And I do not believe that would have happened if I didn't have the support of the men on the dais. I'm going through some things right now with my son, and I realized that I lost like 5 years of some really important time with him fighting a fight. And I think it's so heavy for me right now because it's no secret. We started West Side What's Up with Marvelous and a few other people in the community, and we've always tried to tell the truth. The messages that we get on a regular basis are messages of despair. They primarily come from the employees here. And I mean, in the inside, I'm internally shaking because I think it's real. Police officers are trying to figure out whether or not to pay astronomical insurance premiums or come to work. We lose them to other municipalities. People here aren't wanting to come to work. They're packing up daily and leaving. Mayor, I don't want to have to hide the fact, and any of you up there who I am friendly with, that we are friends. Y'all were worth having a relationship with, because just honorable men, you can never have too many of them. Doug, Trodrick, we don't always see eye to eye, but you have always been decent. I am asking that you make consideration for, and I'm willing to redact where the messages are coming from and let you guys read the core of what your employees are saying about being here and the mass exodus that is being contemplated. When I grew up here, my father retired with 28 years. I grew up in public works doing my homework. Miss Sutton taught me how to take a typing test. Mr. Sutton taught me how to get my time under 6 minutes for a mile. Nobody wants to be here anymore, and I'm sad about it. So I don't know how we do better, but I think it's something that we must. Don't lose a lot of time behind being angry.
Thank you, Ms. March. Thank you for your comments.
Miss Marvelous Washington, Miss Leah Hamilton, and Commissioner Varissa Das, D-A-S-S, is it?
Good evening, councilpersons, mayor, city manager, city attorney. Congratulations, Councilperson Lawson, Councilperson Lanier.
Again, I come behind a lot of residents, and I can't reiterate the same conversation that's had over and over again. First off, I think there's a miscommunication from Lone Pine residents to the dais. We're not asking the city to purchase the golf course. We're asking you not to rezone the golf course to recreation, to residential instead of recreational, because there are buyers that will purchase that golf course and keep it as a recreational space instead of a residential space, overburden the already fragile infrastructure that we already have. That's the communication that's coming from the residents. That's what we're asking for. We know that the city's in dire straits as it relates to financially. We understand that. As I sit in the back, I'm listening to so many people come up here and talk about programs that's being cut. And one of them is the urban farm. And, I've been critical of that of lately because there's a lot of money that was spent towards it. But I just have a couple questions. Have anybody considered looking or linking up the University of Florida Extension Program to collaborate with the city of Riviera Beach to kind of offset those funding? Anybody even considered to look into maybe getting with the school district of Palm Beach County and saying, hey, we need a little help here because we're cutting back on programs. I'm hearing that we're cutting back on the fishing academy. We're no longer approving their contract. And that program took our kids out on the boat fishing, had them experience things they never experienced before. And that's what the city of Riviera Beach is about. I'm a product of that. Riviera Beach has always been that place in which youth were able to have experiences that they never experienced before, whether that's going out of the city, going out of the state, or going out on a boat and going fishing. Whether you caught a fish or not, that was always an experience that was offered by the city of Riviera Beach. So to hear that their contract has been cut is concerning to me, because it seems to me all of our youth programs that affect the minority youth that need it the most are being cut or shattered. The playground was taken out of Wells Recreation Center, never replaced. The fishing program is now no longer, and he's threatening to go somewhere else. And I want answers in regards to that, what we plan on doing with that. And here you are, we got many residents come up and talk about the urban farm. And like I said, I've been critical about it, but it's obvious that it makes an impact, has an impact in the residents and the youth that's using it. So we need to make every effort as possible to see if we can offset those costs and start spending money on things that's worthless and useless. In closing, I also want to know why was the employees of the city of Riviera Beach only given a 2.5% cost of living raise with all the increase of cost that's going on? I need to have answers in regards to that. We can't expect our employees to provide the same service while we're paying them pennies on the dollar. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Ms. Washington.
Ms. Leah Hamilton, Commissioner Verissa Doss, and then Dolores William.
Good evening. My name is Leah Hamilton. Come to speak about the urban farm. I first found out about the program on Twitter and went the first day, saw that it was a massive garden of things growing. I was impressed with it, wasn't dressed for it, so I came back the following week, and I've been going ever since until it was shut down, I guess. And I don't understand what happened, but as a volunteer, I was able to go out. I was low on vitamin D, but being out in the sun, my vitamin D increased, so it's a health benefit. Interacting with people, I'm usually quiet. I don't talk to others, but with this program, I began to socialize a little bit more. I've begun to network with people. I've begun to learn. I even started growing things in my dad's yard because he has land. And the tips that I learned there, I've implemented it in my own life. So that's just me as one person. Then I noticed that she brings the community in, giving food away freely, wanting the young people to have something to learn from. I saw students from Suncoast and Kennedy coming and volunteering. And I would have never thought that a student would be interested in volunteering, but they came dedicated week after week, helping to do activities in the farm and to see the little children that came for the Halloween or the Easter programs that they had available. And she not only invites the community, like the other speaker indicated, they had Publix that came out. They had the Heart Association that came out, and they had other programs that came and facilitated activities and helped the children to be a part of the city and to learn that you can grow things and to see a little baby coming out and helping their parents. That's inspiring. I couldn't get my boys to come out, but seeing other children come out is wonderful. And to know that they can learn that you don't have to go to the store and get the food that's been modified, that's been contaminated, that's been poisoned with fertilizer. You can go, or pesticides, but you can go and get something that hasn't been polluted and it's free. And you can go and incorporate it in your own home. And to know that now we're attempting to start the water garden. That was something I was looking forward to. So hopefully you can allow Valika to continue the vision, the creativity, the impact that she's making is powerful. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Hamilton.
Ms. Commissioner Verissa Das, and then Ms. Dolores Williams.
Hey everyone, my name is Commissioner Verissa Laldas. I'm the Newport Commissioner for District 2 at the Port of Palm Beach. I just wanted to give you guys some quick updates. First of all, we are looking at approving an internship program. Tomorrow is actually when we're going to be voting on it, but it's passed before, so we're all optimistic. This will be for 18-year-olds. They must be a 2023 high school graduate or enrolled in a trade school or enrolled in college to be a successful applicant to qualify. And then it will have different fields. So they can get experience in IT, in finance, in marketing. There's a lot of different options. And we will start collecting applications on April 3rd. And the next thing I wanted to let you know about is we are working currently to try to put together a tourism package where when individuals come from out of town to visit the port, to go on the cruise ship, they can then have access to other events going on in the surrounding communities. You learn about hotels, restaurants, other places, just so that the whole community benefits from the experience. And we just got back from Tallahassee, where we asked for several appropriations that would help the port continue on its mission to be green. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Das.
Ms. Dolores Williams.
Hello, everybody. To the mayor and the citizen of Riviera Beach, and to our new chairman. This looks so nice with the different faces up there. I'm so proud of you.
If you could read your name
Minister
into the record,
Lawson.
please.
Oh, Dolores Williams.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Chairman did a meeting over at the Ambassador about mental health. When he put that on again, please come out, citizens, and just learn more. It's not a shame to find out things that are happening in your community and in your home about mental health, but we just need it. Just a little bit confusion and don't know what it's all about, but we need you to do that. And I want to say something because I found out last week and week before, it was a mess in here about that money. But they told me they gave it to her. Did y'all get an interest on it too? Please make sure the check clear, okay? And go back and give that interest on that. I see you smiling at me, Miss Lanier. I'm just a person that can make you laugh, but I'm a person that's serious too. And I'm telling you, it was a mess here 2 weeks ago. Y'all ladies make me feel so bad that you, after that young lady, as if you want her to be homeless, not to pay her bill. And you held her for how many years? 5 years. Y'all ought to be shaming yourself again. Glad you did that. Mr. Evans, I guess you told him to pay it, told Mr. Sherman to do it. Okay. Woo. We're glad of that. But I'm so happy. And please, y'all stop being so hard on Mr. Trudgett. Mr. Trudgett knows this city. He know the charter from Tallahassee to Washington, D.C. He would, when they come up and say something, he would pick it right out and tell them that can't be. That's against the rule. But yet everybody talking about he this and he that. But he's just what he need to be. Stand up for us, the citizens. They say we matter. All of us matter. Please get up here and do right for our city. And the people in Lone Pine, don't y'all be trying to Made like y'all trying to help them cause of coming up your election next year. Some people ready for y'all when the election comes. They are ready for you. So you up here talking about you gonna do blue help, they're ready for you. You wait till the last minute. How many years have been there? Now you want to act like you want to help them. Help them by denying those people, those entrepreneurs that's coming in here buying up everything. I'm gonna bring you all the stack of stuff they've been sending me. Do you want to sell your house? Capital N-O with an exclamation, no.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Williams.
Mr. Chair, that concludes public comments.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Evans, do you have any comments that you want to address from the public?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. A couple of items, and then I'll ask some of the department directors to address some of the items that were mentioned as part of the discussion. The item with respect to the Lone Pine discussion, that's a discussion that looks to be coming before the board probably at your second meeting in April. The individual concerning the food truck and the permit, seems to be a special event or activity. Director Sermons, the Director of Development Services, can help you with what the process is concerning that. I will ask that Director Blankenship come speak briefly on the urban farm, Mr. Sherman about the financial conditions of the agency and the raises that were provided for employees, and then Director Sermons to give an update on the Amazon item as well as the stipulated agreement. Sir?
Good morning, Mayor, Chair, City Council. Richard Blankenship, Parks and Recreation Director. The first point I want to make is that the urban farm is at an apex, and we just are at a point where we need to regroup and look at a future agreement. So that's, nobody's suggesting that the farm go away. So that's where we are, and hopefully we'll have something ironed out here very shortly. As far as the fishing academy, that contract ran out, and we requested that Captain Rich give us a proposal of a more environmental education tenor than a fishing. It'll have some fishing in it, but he has made the proposal, and we just need to get it on the calendar and get him contracted. We do have a proposal from a playground vendor to purchase a new playground for Wells, which we'll be doing shortly, and we'll be reinstalling a playground there at the appropriate time. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Board, any questions for Mr. Blankenship? Mr. Blankenship, I do want to address that a lot of residents came out tonight because they wanted to see this item discussed. And for it to be pulled and put on the agenda, I think we need to just do a better job of making sure we don't put things on the agenda, expect residents to come out, and then pull it last minute, because that's unfair to everyone that came out here to discuss the item. So I want to make sure that we're prepared going in, moving forward.
Understood.
Thank you, Mr. B. Colleagues?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, sir.
Let me provide some context. In fact, I asked questions at the last minute, specifically regarding the urban farm. I received, or I have a copy of the professional services agreement, which sets forth a 12-month contract, which for all intents and purposes, we have fulfilled our obligation under that contract. But what stood out to me the most was that we had received several invoices requesting payments of $60,000. And I know certainly the contract only calls out for 36. So I asked for a specific breakdown as to what, what was being asked for us. So I think there are some other items that has to be addressed, but I don't think it was just purely through my inquiry of city administration and legal, I guess just as recent as this afternoon, as to why I think they wanted to give us more opportunity to break down what those fees and costs were. So, and that's on me. So respectfully, that is where that arose from, Mr. Chair.
Any other comments, board? And to address that, Councilman, that discussion has been happening. I've sat in personal meetings with the team. I think that we, as a staff and as leadership, just need to make sure we're prepared. Even with those updated items, we have a lot of residents here, so regardless, it should have been ready, and I know moving forward it will be. So, Mr. Evans?
Yes, if I can have Director Sherman speak briefly on the stipulated agreement and then the update on the Amazon, or Mr. Sherman, sorry. Sherman, then Sermon.
Go ahead, Mr. Sherman.
Just want you to know I was here first, so. Okay, so first I want to talk about the union agreement. City has about 550 employees. About 80% of those employees are covered by union agreements. City has made great strides in bringing all of the union groups up to current market values. The last set of contracts that we've had, we have front-loaded the contracts to bring them all up. So when you look at the third year, which is the issue with a number of our contracts right now, it looks like it's a lower percentage, but we front-loaded all the contracts. So year one, we were giving 12, 15, 20% raises to get all of the employees up to market. We are currently in discussions with PBA, which is the police officers. IAFF is next week, I think. We start renegotiating with them. SEIU has asked if we can start. Their contract expires in September, and PMSA is currently in negotiations. So again, we've brought the employees up to market and front-loaded the contract so that they would have their money. Do you want me to address the financial condition?
Well, and also for what non-represented received as it relates to wage increases this past fiscal year.
Non-affiliated employees got 5% back on October 1st. They are the last group. We've told the unions that we'll get all the unions up, and then we'll come back and take care of the non-affiliated employees and get them up to market. So that's the one group that is under market at this point. As far as the financial condition of the city, we just really need to put that to rest. The city is very strong, and let me give you a couple little statistics about the city. Statewide, there are 400, I think it's 411, Mr. McCoy, you can correct me if that's not the right number, counties, cities, towns, villages throughout the city. Only 17% of that 411 have a AA rating. Only 5 communities or governments in Palm Beach County have a AA rating. And only one city in Palm Beach County has 2 AA ratings, and that's the city of Riviera Beach. So we are at the top of the class in Palm Beach County as far as how the financial community views us. Our reserves are strong, our cash balances are strong, and our operating results are strong. But I want you to be, assured that, we're not frivolous in our spending. We look at all the spending options that we have. We look, to save where we can save. But again, we, understand the needs of the community, and we're funding it and taking care of those needs.
Board?
Questions?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Mr.
Madam.
Chairman, thank you so much for that information. I did not know that the city of Riviera Beach was the only one that had a rating in terms of their financial capacity. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and especially your staff and the hard work that they put in for the city. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Colleagues? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if we can have Director Sermons give you an update.
Good evening again, Mr.
Go
Chair.
ahead, Director Sermons.
First, with the comments related to the stipulated agreement with Safe Harbor Rybovich, staff has been in close and regular communication with the residents of the community, and we have gone out and investigated when complaints have arisen. We have been working very closely with outside legal in handling the violations here. We do have to make sure we balance investigations of any complaints, but also due process of the property owners. And it was advised that the best way to handle new violations that came to our attention was to amend the stipulated agreement that was put in place last year. So we are in the process of drafting that document and updating it, and it's in the hands of the property owners right now, but we do expect that to be before the the code compliance special magistrate in the coming month. As it relates to Amazon, the last time they were before you, it was for their site plan approval, and there were conditions connected to it related to their recruitment and employment. They have, since the change in the market due to the pandemic subsiding in terms of online purchasing traffic, they have changed the format of the facility that they're proposing here, where it will be I believe their terminology is a last mile facility where it turns around 24-hour orders as opposed to more of a distribution facility. That is resulting in a facility that will have higher employment numbers than what was originally proposed. They have submitted the required amendments to the site to staff. They are minor changes. They're changing the loading areas and some circulation aspects of the parking lot. So it does not rise to the level of a site plan that would require a public hearing as changes 5% or less can be handled administratively. And that's what we're doing right now. I will make sure that they follow through with the conditions of the site plan approval in terms of recruiting when they are ready to begin engaging employment for the facility as it nears opening. And we are working with city administration and the CRA with things such as job fairs, which were discussed during the public hearing. And that would conclude my updates.
Thank you for your comment, sir. Board? Mr. Evans?
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go on to discussion by city manager.
Yes, Mr. Chair and members of the board. First and foremost, our thoughts and prayers are with the family members that lost loved ones. It's been a tough week for the agency, especially a tough month of March. We had 4 persons in the agency that we lost, and we're all outstanding individuals. And our departments and our personnel is mourning the loss of so many. And so thank you for the community support and the board's support with regards to reaching out to the employees. We have had counselors on site to be able to assist employees through the grieving process. And so we will continue to provide those wraparound services for staff as we continue to heal as an agency. Also, I do want to talk briefly about some comments with respect to resignations and staffing or what have you. As a member of the Palm Beach County City Managers Association, as well as the statewide association, as well as the international association, every agency is challenged with what is called the Great Resignation. Persons have changed the way in which they prioritize things and what they value. As a result of the pandemic, people are looking for more remote working options. They're looking for alternative schedules. They're looking for other things that government entities are trying to work through. But I can assure you that the folks that we have in the agency are committed. They are focused, and they want to move the agency forward. For those that we recruit, we want to make sure that they are committed to carrying out the ideals and visions of this board, and we look forward to a prosperous and productive 2023 and years on. And so certainly to any employees or members of the public that would like to see how we can work together collaboratively to create the employer of choice that we believe we are, certainly we would be willing to have those conversations. But we are looking to bring something before this board, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, concerning the address of the non-affiliated or your non-represented employees. Those are the employees, about 78 of them that are in those supervisory positions. That also includes your captains and majors in the police department, to address some compensation issues. But we are looking to bring that item forward for some consideration and discussion in the future. We're just working on finalizing the document and then meeting with the rank and file and staff to get their input on the plan. And then that item comes before you all. But there is money that's already been provided in the budget to provide for an opportunity to address the inequities concerning compensation. So I'll be prepared for that item coming forward in short order. That concludes my comments, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilman.
Mr. Evans, do you mind speaking to where we are in the selection of a police chief?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I may. Go ahead, Mr. Evans.
Yes, on Friday, I do have interviews on the police chief, and then after those interviews, I will then be looking to hopefully make a decision the middle part of next week.
Any follow-up, Councilman?
No, thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney?
No comments, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Nguyen. City Council Committee reports?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
as the first Vice President of the Palm Beach County League of Cities, I chaired the February 22nd meeting. And also on that day, I had a Palm Beach North Chamber of Commerce Sustainability Committee meeting at MacArthur Park. On March 2nd, I attended the League of Cities District 1 lunch, and on March 10th, I attended the Palm Beach North Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other committee reports? Statements by the mayor and city council, starting with Councilwoman Julie Botel.
Thank you. On Sunday, February 26th, I was honored for my contribution to the community by the Youth Recreation Association and Mothers Against Murders at the Black History Month Gala. Specifically, Mr. Dan Calloway thanked me for my work in the schools, and I'm particularly proud of the workforce development work in which we've been engaged. I wanted to thank Valika Brown and Aman Israel and all of the volunteers, many of whom were here this evening at the Urban Farm, for the wonderful work they've done to provide organic produce to our community. I hope that work can continue. I attended the annual Riviera Beach Housing Fair here at the Marina on Saturday, March 4th. Thank you to Anita Jenkins for putting together a wonderful event. It was extremely well attended, and the vendors who were here were very informative. I attended the Palm Beach County Days in Tallahassee last week. We're continuing to plan for the Palm Beach State College courses here, which will take place in the summer semester. The college has agreed to offer 3 college credit certificates this year: business specialist, logistics and transportation, and entrepreneurship. And if you're interested in getting more information about the college courses, which will be held right here in Riviera Beach, please contact my legislative aide, Mary Small, at msmall@rivierabeach.org. Jazz on the Beach event, the next one will take place on March 30th. Please get over there and watch them. I'm going to be out of the country, but I know that you will enjoy them if you get over there at the Ocean Walk Mall. We're planning also World Oceans Day on June 9th with an art exhibition and concert here at the Event Center. I wanted to express my condolences as well to the family and friends of those Riviera Beach police officers who passed recently, and also to the family and friends of our former city clerk, Carrie Ward. I'm sorry I missed the groundbreaking at Lone Pine. I was at the Palm Beach Shores St. Patrick's Day Parade. You know, when my allegiances are the park or St. Patrick's Day, you know where I got to be. So I want to say happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there. Remember, there's a little bit of Irish in all of us on that day, so enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mayor?
Congratulations, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Man, that's different, ain't it? Mr. Chair, change is always good. And I hope that this change puts us back in where we were kind of in 2019. I know some things that has to take place individual. I think I started mine last week with Dr. Brazil. And
I thank you for that.
yes, and Pro Tem, I also want to get with you. I think we have something special here on this dais. Councilman McCoy has taught me so much, just listening. Don't always agree with the method, but the message is always on time. Councilman Lawson, Mr. Chair, has taught me. And so I think if we can put some differences aside, it doesn't mean that we always have to agree to disagree. This board has an opportunity to do what no other board has done in the history of Riviera Beach. And so I think with this change, Mr. Chair, I'm going to work alongside of you to make sure that we come together. We all have unique individual talents that we all operate in. But I do believe if we put those talents together and we involve everybody in the process, that we can do great things. So it's almost like I've been rejuvenated. I'm excited. I hope the community is excited for, I believe, what this board is going to do in the next couple of years. So just keep your head up and let's come together, all right? I think each one has to make that decision in their own heart. But if we really care about the community, I think we put our differences to the side to really move this community forward, because we only have a short period of time. Mr. Evans, thank you for your leadership. I thank you for the last few months, that the relationship that we built intentionally and that we continue to build. And so I'm here to work with you guys. As I said before, if I've done anything to react, because I'm not a reactive person, I ask for your forgiveness. I'm going to say what's right. I'm going to go for what's right. I won't compromise that. But what you can assure I would do, if I have an issue with y'all on this board, I won't address it on this dais. I would address it individually. And I just hope we all can take that same stance, that if you have an alt with your brother, call him to the side. And I think this will be a better board, and I think we'll have a better community because they're waiting on our leadership. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Pro Tem?
On February 24th and 25th, I hosted a shuttle for our residents to receive free dental care through the Florida Mission of Mercy at the South Florida Fairgrounds. About 30 residents, City of Riviera Beach residents, received free dental services, including cleanings, fillings, extraction, dentures, saving them thousands of dollars. RJ Gillum is currently the director of Foundation Affairs at the Florida Dental Association and was instrumental in this effort. Thank you to Aledia Franks in the Parks and Recreation Department for her assistance. Our driver, Johnny Allen, also in the Parks and Recs Department, assisted our residents and seniors by escorting them to and from the site and handling them with so much care. We're hoping for the next event for free dental will be located right here in the city of Riviera Beach. On February the 28th, I hosted a forum on the state of education in Riviera Beach schools with school board member Edwin Ferguson and former Riviera Beach spokeswoman, Educational Advisory Committee member Roseanne Brown. Edwin Ferguson discussed the statistical data of the schools in our city and provided resources for our parents. Additionally, we are reinstating our education committee for the city of Riviera Beach. If you are interested in joining this committee, you can reach out to my office at 561-602-2344. We are looking for residents. We are looking for parents, especially, to be a part of this education committee so that we can look at some of the issues that are affecting our schools in Riviera Beach. And also, I would like to thank the chair for doing this reset in terms of being authentic with the board, with the public. People looked at my reign as chair as something that was contentious, and it may have been at times. My job and my only job is to serve the residents of the city of Riviera Beach and to ensure that their best interest is something that is put before this board. We had a lot of disagreements on how I saw that the city needed to make sure that its residents were attended to. But I'm hoping that this reset will certainly discourage arguments, innuendos, lies, and all that comes with being a politician, that we can move forward and make sure that we are talking about our work and not our personal business. Thank you.
Thank you, Pro Tem Lanier. Councilman McCoy?
Yeah, thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had to take a moment and reset, especially when I heard Councilwoman Botel say she was honored for Black History Month here in the city. I'm not sure exactly what organization, but congratulations to you, and certainly congratulations to you, Mr. Chair, for your leadership, which I think you certainly have an opportunity to make a difference as the chairperson, and I think you did a really good job today. So I'm very much optimistic, and I'm gonna go into this new term with that optimism. I had the opportunity, and I know Chair Pro Tem was there last week. We actually, it was 2 weeks ago, we went up to Orlando for the Black Caucus, statewide Black Caucus annual conference, and the mayor of Miramar, Wayne Messam, had delivered a very great opening message. And it was a call on all elected officials. Particularly, he stated, he talked about his opportunity being a national championship winner for Florida State University back in '95, and he wanted to go to the March on Washington, and he had some concerns because he played for legendary coach Bobby Bowden, who was a devout Christian, and everyone had this stigma about Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, and he knew certainly that he could not miss Monday morning practice because that was the day of correction. So he decided to write a letter to Coach Bowden, and he gave this speech to us, and I really was moved by it. And he said to Coach Bowden that he wanted to be excused for that Monday morning mandatory meeting, and he was on a year-to-year scholarship, and he knew that Bowden did not allow for any deviations to practice because you are there to play football. And he wrote the letter, and he said he went and got a call that he needed to meet with Coach Bowden, and he sat down with Coach Bowden. To his surprise, Coach Bowden had excused him to go and excused him to go to the Million Man March in Washington, D.C. And he said, members of the Black Caucus, I want you to know that once you get elected as a Black man or a Black woman, you have to first ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? So when I got on city council, I really, really appreciate having a relationship with, Chairman Lawson, Pro Tem Lanier, the mayor, Councilwoman Botel, as well as Miller Anderson, as well as Councilwoman Botel, as well as the attorney and the manager. And I tell you, I talked to the attorney quite a bit, but I'm here for business. I respect the friendship, but I take this very serious. People live and die off of the decisions that we make, and I sleep good at night knowing that in my heart, I don't give a darn if I hurt somebody's feelings. You know why? It hurts my feelings if I sit by and I allow things to go unaddressed. And that's the same message that I got validation from when I heard Wayne Messam say, when you get elected, don't sit in a lazy boy. You're in the seat, and unless you're ready to sacrifice, you shouldn't be elected. So I'm not here for anything else other than to do the right thing. I speak from a place of passion and experience, and I want the best for this community, as do, I believe, everybody up here. But just like Congress, just like what happens up in the legislature, I think everybody really wants the best. How we get there is different, though, because we all have different experiences and different backgrounds, and I really genuinely want to respect everyone's position. And we sometimes get very heated and passionate. And I think that says a lot about how much we love our community. But don't expect that I'm going to accept mediocrity. We've been, and this is what I've said. We was in Tallahassee. Remind me when we were in Tallahassee, was that last week?
Last week.
I've been moving so much, I just tend to forget. But, I've shared with folks, we're representing the city of Riviera Beach. We're 100 years old. We're coming up on 101. We're still struggling with doing things that I see the town of Westlake, who's a very new city. They say they're in their meetings. They have one meeting a month for 2 hours. If it goes over 2 hours, it's something seriously wrong. And I know we have complex issues. I've shared with administration some of the calls that I've gotten. I mean, it doesn't even start when we walk in this room, right? We give everything. I mean, we take so much from our personal. And I'll tell you something else. I'm still on the look for somebody that is elected that has a kid that's in elementary school. I haven't found it yet. That's a single parent. So I really make sacrifices for this organization. And I like to say that, we earn $19,000 a year. You know why I say that? Because it's our heart and our passion that drives us to come in here and deal with our residents and our communities every day. So I certainly respect it. And you know what? You don't have to really like me, and I'm not really concerned with that. I just want you to be able to know that McCoy is going to do what McCoy thinks is important. And, I've had this just as early as Tuesday. I had a question that I thought I was absolutely right about. I spoke to Deputy Manager McBride, and she gave me some context. And I appreciate that. So we're all here to learn. And I don't try to suggest that I'm infallible, that I know everything, because we all make mistakes. And I can live with making a mistake. What I can't live with is making a conspiracy. So, I'm here to serve my community. And I want to do that respectfully with the members of this board. And I like to say we in drop, at least I'm in drop, right? Because I don't want to make this a career thing for me. I want to, serve my community and move on to wherever, those next steps are. But I think certainly we have to be able to come together better. I'm not interested in, getting up and all on the stage in the videos, but, for what it's worth, I appreciate, my colleague for his desire, because I just can't do it. I was asked why I didn't show up on Saturday, why I didn't come on Sunday, because I have to be a father, and that's most important for me. So thank you so much for, I think we're going into our second year of our second term, this for me, I shouldn't even be here. And to that point, I'm gonna bring this in for a landing. 2015, I think I was still working in the legislature, but Kerry Ward actually asked me to run for city council. And when I went into her office, there was not an empty space on her wall because she had gotten almost every possible award that you can get over 38 years. So I certainly have a lot of respect for her, and I'll be there tomorrow to pay my respects to her. So with that, Mr. Chair, I want to ask if you would be so kind to allow Ms. Smith to give some information about the services for Ms. Ward. So thank you, members, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman.
So we have the arrangements for Ms. Ward. Thursday, March 16th, which is tomorrow, the family will receive friends at the Royal Palm Funeral Home from 5 to 7 p.m. Royal Palm Funeral Home is located at 5601 Greenwood Avenue, West Palm Beach, Florida. On Friday, March 17th, there will be a celebration of life from 11 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. located at the Hilltop Missionary Baptist Church, 1273 West 30th Street, Riviera Beach, Florida. Also, Mr. Chair, I would like to take the opportunity to thank the city administration as well as your board for allowing Ms. Hall, Ms. Roseanne Brown, and Ms. Jackie Burgess to set up the memorial in City Hall for Ms. Ward. It's open to the public. Anyone can come by and sign the family card that is there. And then also the city will be sending flowers to the services. And I believe the city manager, he can speak on it. He has plans also to present her family with the flag.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chair, if I may, we are going to retire both the city flag and the American flag on the date that it is flown on her funeral, and then provide that to her family. So those flags will never be flown again, and they will be presented to her family in honor of her service to this community.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Well, first and foremost, I wanted to thank all of the residents for allowing us to stay this late with one agenda item tonight. I'll take responsibility for that one tonight because we extended it due to the chair and some passionate meetings. Every March, we tend to go through these highly emotional meetings where it's newly elections, new board selections, a new chairman, and residents. It's a passion, and I see the passion and the vigor from every one of my colleagues. And colleagues, I want to thank you again for allowing me to serve as the board chair. Staff, I'm going to just try to lead by example and continue to provide the best direction as just being equal to my colleagues and facilitating the meetings. That's what my role is as chair, and that's all I see it as. So I wanted to just start with that. Councilman McCoy, if you thought I was all in the video before, wait till you see us now moving forward, because the city is going to be really kind of showcasing and telling our story. Moving forward, I think that we have to really tell all the positive. How many people knew that the city had a AA rating on 2 boards that Mr. Sherman gave tonight? Those are the things that we need to continue to showcase, and we will. A lot of the positive is going to continue to come, and I'm going to make sure that we bring that to the forefront and showcase that as leading with the board chair. There's a few ideas, Councilwoman Botel, that I wanted to make sure that we could try to change the dynamic of this setup so we could maybe see each other. So Mr. Evans did give us some ideas moving forward that we could possibly take a look at so we can actually have a better view for everybody. And in addition to that, colleagues, I truly believe in this reset because I just felt the passion from tonight's meeting. I felt a better energy, and I'm appreciative with us moving forward in this direction. And I want us to continue to just serve the community as we have been, building on what we've already built. So thank you, everybody. And can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Move to adjourn.